to be part of this and just eagerly waiting to know more from you. Yes.
Definitely. So, in your profession, if I may ask you, Sanjeev, how important right now you see the growth of this data center market?
Yeah, I see it very, very important. Nowadays, oil is the
You're
content
breaking right
being
now.
spread
Yeah.
across in economy, right? See, if you see companies,
You're breaking, Sanjeev.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
breaking. Sorry.
the demand is growing.
You're breaking actually. Uh, okay, that's fine. I think we have some network issue here with our guest, but we will come back to him again. So, as I was explaining, the global data center market is growing at the rate of 12%, right? So, what are the different types of data centers, right? So, we have colocation data center, we have hyperscale data center, we have edge data center, and we have a managed service data center. So normally, most of these days, how the offices are managed are through the managed service data centers, right? And it involves like a third party provider. They are handling on a day-to-day basis all different kind of management, monitoring, and also maintenance of a company. It's a data center infrastructure. For example, if I am running a company, a consulting company, definitely I need to run the data center. So it normally happens that a third party company who runs the data center, so they manage the data which is going back and forth from my company, which is also a nice way to do it, because every small companies like a small consulting companies or small scale industries, they may not be in a position to afford very high cost data center to invest and manage the data center themselves. So in that case, what happens is normally, you sublease or you lease your managing the data center to a third party companies. So Mr. Sanjeev has joined back again. So a colocation data center is a business which can rent space, power and cooling and connectivity to house its own IT servers, hardware, etc. Then we have hyperscale data center. It's a massive, highly automated data center, right, which is designed for extreme scalability and efficiency and performance and supporting the big datas. And when we talk about big datas, it is like companies to companies. It is like government to different governments elsewhere in different countries and so on and so forth. So having all those high level data centers will make a big difference, right? So for that, what you need, right, a strong electronics base and a strong complete solid assembly which can transfer, which can hold these high power, high required data to be transmitted and exchanged between the corporations, between the countries, between the government and the consumers, and so on and so forth. There are so many different wide application. Even the healthcare center, if you consider, right, healthcare has the like millions of data are stored of each different patient on a regular basis. So what do? You have data center for that. So how electronics is getting impacted on that? So definitely it is uh, there are like huge electronics goes into that. But before we get back to the electronics, what are the key components are involved in a data center, right? The key components is, one is we can classify into two different categories. One is physical infrastructure and one is security system. So physical infrastructure is consists of networking system, storage systems, power systems, and cooling and environmental control. Whereas security systems is management and monitoring, then connectivity, then of course redundancy and disaster recovering systems, and compliance and standards. So naturally all these things, they need definitely a lot of electronics. So we will get back to that particular detail after this small break, where we will watch this quick video and come back. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the Global Electronics Friday Talk Show with your host Rajiv Kulkarni. Every week we bring in different topics, right, related to the electronics manufacturing. So, because electronics manufacturing is a huge, I would say, subject by itself, where you have from the designing phase to the manufacturing and to what do you call the supply chain, right? So, and today's topic is data center and the impact on electronics manufacturing or electronics. This is episode number 1, and we have Mr. Sanjeev Anantashayana from Bangalore, which is a Silicon Valley of India, who is with us, and definitely he is a data analyst. He's worked in the data categories in various organizations. So Sanjeev, are you okay now with your network?
Hi, Raju sir. I think hopefully it should be fine now.
Yeah, it's very clear. So you were saying something and we got dropped at that time. Yeah.
I'm sorry for that. Okay. I'm in Bangalore working in a company which manufactures the hard disk drive (HDD) and which is one of the major component for the data centers.
Absolutely.
So, uh, so I'm just here to gain knowledge from you about data centers and grab
Sure.
some great opportunities in terms of learnings.
Yes.
And like few things I personally know, the demand for data has grown really in a great manner, and even I could see in future the growth is even more. Right, I think until now the data was being created by the people, folks, humans, but now
Correct.
it's like through IoTs, a lot of data is getting created by the machines and AI. So there's a huge scope in future for data.
Correct.
So for data center and for AI, what I personally uh, to 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 run their models, they need a very good data.
Yes.
So I personally feel for the demand for data will be there, and hence the data center space is one of the good space for its growth in future. As you said, it's 12% CAGR. I personally know it's even more for data demand for the demand for data. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely true. Very well said, Sanjeev. So, as you rightly said, it's earlier human beings, we used to manually enter all the data, right? Even if we,
Right.
I think in certain part of rural areas of certain countries, I would still say that some of the registers are still maintained manually. And because the automation and the electronics processing and everything is still, it is kind of a dream for them. And like I remember growing up, even till few years back, the bank, they were maintaining all the accounts, and they're called as ledgers, right? So manually they would maintain of each account holder details. I mean, look at that, how many manual files or folders they would have to maintain with so much of data, right? But now the same thing is so electronically managed. And what does it say? It is nothing but the data center which is holding their data through electronic way, right? So it is, how do I say, it is a bloom of AI which has flipped completely the entire industry. It's AI is actually adding more fuel into the fire, I would say, in the exploding industry, and it is becoming more and more so automated and so automation, so electronically processed. It is not just the computers we are talking, it is a giant electronics factory, right? And that is why I was focusing more on the electronic side of it. And it consumes hell of a lot of electronics, the data center, right? In order to build the rack servers, in order to build the blade servers, in order to build the tower servers, right? All these three different servers actually convey or perform different roles in the data center market. And of course, these servers are being built by different huge corporations globally. And I don't want to name any corporation's name per se. So, but definitely people who are in this market, they will definitely understand which are those companies and so on and so forth. And considering that the data center actually, they buy, I would say, for example, the hyperscale data center for, it's almost 1.5 to $2 billion kind of electronics goes into that, right? It can be servers, motherboards, CPUs, GPUs, DRAM, NAND, and SSDs, and so on and so forth. As I earlier mentioned, there are networking, there are switches, there are transceivers and optical modules, and then of course the flash arrays in the storage sector of it. So in the electronics also, as I mentioned, GPUs, CPUs, servers, motherboards, right? And I would definitely like to mention here Mr. Amba Prasad, who is our technocrat, who is a design expert in the PCBs for the last 4+ years, decade. And in his last few segments of our global electronics, if you see, he has referred most of the design applications, applicable to the servers and the storage and the data center market segment. So what does it say? It says how much of electronics we are using in making a data center possible, right? And there are data center manufacturing happening not only in the United States, it is definitely a big manufacturing in the Asian market and also in the European market segment, and so on and so forth. So you have any questions, Sanjeev, in the meantime, or you want to add something?
No. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
waiting to get some more knowledge from you. Thank you so much.
Okay. So now we come on to the data center equipment, network equipments market segment, right? So what are the components engaged in the network equipments? I would consider routers and also switches. And routers and switches plays a very important role in data center and the electronics going into that, right? I'm talking about these components and their, how they get bifurcated into various different products and how those products use our electronics, right? And every electronics has to have a printed circuit board, because to have all the components stuffed and the conductivity to happen, right? So now data centers in the storage systems, if we come to the storage systems, we have storage area network, in other words it's called SAN. Then we have network attached storage, which is called as NAS, and then we have direct attached storage. Normally storage area network, they do high speed networking connecting server to a shared device. So then we have network attached storage, which is dedicated storage device connected to a network. So it is from network to network, right? Then we have direct attached storage directly connected to server and computer. Again, each particular division or the category is being manufactured by large corporations, and we all know who are all those large corporations. And so we will continue in our next session, what does the power systems component will bring into the data center market segment. So with that, I would like to conclude today's episode number 1, data center and the impact on electronics. Sorry, we had little bit of technical glitches in the beginning, but definitely we will take care of that. Again, everything is networking, right? So when we have this online networking, there are a lot of issues can emerge and happen, various kind of challenges, but in the data center market, it is continue to grow, as Mr. Sanjeev also mentioned. I mentioned 12%, considering a very conserving numbers, because higher growth rate is always good for economy, and there are pros and cons of establishing a data center, but we will not talk about the cons, we will only talk about the pros. That's all this channel is about, talking about the positive things, the growth of electronics market, the growth and the growth of electronics manufacturing, whether it is India, whether it is US, it is China, or any part of the world, because we are talking globally here. So with that, Sanjeev, if you have any questions, if you want to add anything, otherwise we will be concluding today's episode.
Thank you so much for all your inputs. So yeah, I'll be waiting for the episode 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining for today's show, and all the viewers out there. If you want to join, please let me know. Send me your contact. Then I will definitely involve you so that you can also participate in this open panel discussion of market segment data center and its impact on electronics. Thank you all. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend and take care of your health. Thank you.